Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm very excited for today's video because we have our first Nomad Cosmetics palette of the year, and it is the Chamonix Après-Ski palette. This is the second one they've done as far as like a ski resort after the Whistler Snow Lodge. This is one of their larger palettes, and I'm very excited to show this off. I think this is a really pretty palette and a really fun way to start the year. I have already done a couple looks of this, so I'm going to do one more and some swatches as well today, and we're going to see if this lives up to the quality I know and love from Nomad Cosmetics. And if you are new here, welcome. My name is Colin. I'm a non-binary Latinx scientist and lover of makeup. And I really like sparkly indie eyeshadows and high-end and luxury makeup, and I tend to be pretty analytical in the content I make. I try really hard to make thoughtful, analytical videos, and I have new content every week, so I'd love to have you subscribe. Okay, so before we begin, I did get this in PR. Obviously, I got this about a week before launch, and I have already done a couple looks with it, so I'm gonna do one more today. I'm gonna do the swatches today, and we'll see how this goes, see how this compares to their other palettes. I don't have the exact price for this, but I will put it on the screen and I will have it in the description box. Launching Tuesday the 14th, January 14th, 2025. It's really weird to say still. Normally that means technically it's like Monday night. Like oftentimes it's like 11 p.m. Pacific time when I can order them if I want to. So Monday night, Tuesday morning, generally, when these will launch. This is going up, like I said, hopefully Saturday, which is the day that this is being announced. I am filming this earlier in the week so that I have time to edit and whatnot. I did get this in PR, and I do have a discount code with Nomad. So my code is not an affiliate code, although they did say that once it's used enough times, I can qualify for the affiliate program, but right now it's just a discount code. So it just saves you money, and it is Bones. It saves 10% on the website. So if you do use that, I am very grateful, and it helps you save a little bit of money too. I always use a code when I shop for anything myself. But this is the outer packaging. The palette itself looks exactly the same. Really love the artwork here, and I do think that the color scheme in this photo represents the colors in the palette really well. I don't know who did this art, but I think this is the first time I've seen like drawings of people on one of their palettes. So when you get this, you also generally get a postcard. I think this is my favorite of the postcards that they've done. It looks like a real postcard. And it says, you know, hello 2025. It has information about the palette on the back. And it's got this beautiful picture of Chamonix, which is a ski resort in France. It's in the French Alps, so it's down near Switzerland and Italy and all of that, but not a part of France that I've been to personally. But really beautiful. I've only ever been around Paris when I was an exchange student or when I've gone to visit. And then when you look at the palette, it has information. It has a preview of the color story, information on the back. And then like all Nomad palettes, this is cruelty-free and vegan. This is recyclable. I think all the packaging is recyclable. The actual like sleeve protector sleeve is this instead of plastic. And the bag that it came in, the packaging it came in is compostable, which I also love. And then all of their palettes are a supporter of a local nonprofit or a local business, nonprofit I think, and this is a proud supporter of the Inspire Mont Blanc. So I think that's, I don't know what they do specifically, but I love that Nomad does that. This is 9 mattes, 9 shimmers, so it's a nice even mix, which I also always enjoy. Open it up, you get the palette, looks exactly the same. Back is just a little different with the basics of the palette. And then I did want to show in comparison to the Whistler Snow Lodge, this is their 12 pan and this is the 18, this is 15 and this is 18, I believe. Yeah, so you get 3 extra shades, a little bit bigger. And then the color story. This is a really pretty color story. I will say right off the bat, I do talk to Nomad all the time. I consider Felicia a friend. We talk about personal stuff. We're very nice. So I am a little bit biased there, but I will be 100% honest if I don't like something, always. And I will say right off the bat, some of these shades are not my personal favorite. That's not the quality, it's just the tone. They're just colors. I don't wear that often. But this is the color story. I think this is a really pretty, really fun wintry launch. I'm very excited to see these tones, especially like these kind of periwinkle tones over here. And the reason I had to give that thing about color is, if you are not new here, you know that I don't really like pink or red eyeshadow. I love a red lip. I like a red tone blush. I like red in clothing and stuff. Red nails. I have a red bag that I take to work every day. But I don't really like these kind of tones on my skin tone. So this is automatically like not my personal favorite just because of these. I have already used these and they work really nicely. They're just not my perfect tones. But I do think these are tones that are going to be very popular with a lot of people, so I think it's a very smart decision. You can see you've got a nice mix, even mix of shimmers and mattes. You've got shimmer, matte, shimmer, matte, shimmer. You've got two iridescents here. I have not used the green one here, and you can see there's a bit of a green tint. I have used this one, which is a pink to blue duochrome iridescent and is really pretty, and you will see it on my eye when I use these tones. And actually, I think I used it on these as well. These, I love green. Green's my favorite, but these like periwinkle lavender tones are really what called to me the most. So really excited to actually do the swatches finally, and then try out the greens, because I haven't tried any of the green shades yet. And then I did want to show it in comparison to the Whistler Snow Lodge, in case you have that. They're not similar at all. This is a little bit more pastel, kind of gives me 80s vibes, in a certain way, but let me see if I can hold these at the same time. So here is it next to Whistler Snow Lodge. So you can see it's a little more desaturated, which I really like. These are very saturated tones, like very blue, very brick red, very dark green. These are all a little bit more muted and desaturated, which is something I appreciate in a tone. So I'm excited to try the desaturated greens. Really liked these. You can see this has some of those neutrals. This doesn't really have any neutrals in it. So very different. If you have this already and you like this, I think these would probably work well together, but very different. Okay, so we're gonna go into the swatches. Normally I point the camera down and do them on my table and do all of them at once, but I am wearing long sleeves today and I don't feel like changing, especially because I have makeup on my face. I did wear my new Highland Cow sweater. Had to wear this today. Well, I just felt like wearing this today. Had nothing to do with the palette, but I do love this sweater. So I'm gonna be doing them in, it's kind of like you have 3 6-pan palettes or 3 6-pan color stories in this. So I'm gonna do swatches in those on the back of my hand, and then we'll go into the 2 looks that I've already filmed. We'll do a 3rd look here together, and then wrap up with final thoughts. Okay, so I'm gonna do the mattes first in each column, just because that way I don't have to worry about getting sparkle off. So this first shade here is raclette, which is a type of cheese. And then we have Off-Piste and Haute Savoy. It's been a while it's been years since I spoke French regularly, so those are the tones. So you can see how pink they are. This is like an off-white with a pink tint to it. This one's kind of a desaturated, like mauve pink, although I did already use this and it pulls pretty baby pink on my eye. And then you've got this nice medium, kind of almost purple pink. So you can see the colors there. Yeah, this is almost a white, but it has just like a little bit of a pinky beige tone to it in person. And then the shimmers for this column, you have Les Alpes. If you don't speak French, you never say the S at the end of things. So it's not Les. This feels a little drier than some other shimmers, but I think that has to do with being iridescent. It doesn't feel dry by any means, but not like creamy. Last Run, this one feels creamier. And then Vien Chaude. Really pretty. This is kind of a cranberry shade. Then you've got a pale pink, and then yeah, you can see that pink, blue. It's mostly pulling blue duochrome. So when I hold it this way, I'm seeing blue reflected there, and I'm seeing like very, very pink this way. Not sure I'll be able to capture that. Oh yeah, you can kind of see it on the edge there. So terrible swatches. But this is really just to show you what these look like on my undertone, especially if you have an olive undertone as well. Nice cranberry, and then that pink got a little bit buried. So let me do Last Run again. I'll do Last Run again up here. You can see it's a very like sheer pale pink. If you like a pink, it's got a little bit of a gold, like red gold to it if I hold it this way. So if you really like, I feel like if you're a lighter skin tone and you like that kind of shade, this would be a really easy one and done kind of everyday on the lid shade. And while I will say these aren't my go-to tones, I do think my best friend is gonna probably borrow this a few times because these are tones that she really likes. Okay, so now we'll do the greens. So Fondue is the lightest one. Ski is the mid-tone. These feel very nice. Fondue is very pastel, almost white green. And then Mont Blanc is the dark green. It's a little bit darker than the shade in the pinky column. Really pretty, excited to use those. I haven't touched the greens yet before this, so there is a little bit of green there. So you can see that undertone, but it is very pale. And like nice light green there. And then the dark green. I do wish that these two were just like a little darker, like this was a little darker and this was a little darker, but this does lean a little bit more pastel in general, it seems, or like light. Okay, so now for the green shimmers. So this one's iridescent as well. It looks green. This is Chamonix, so the name of the resort. You don't see the X at the end. Really pretty green. It's a green purple, so that's pretty. Not sure it'll be able to capture it on camera very easily. But yeah, you can see a little bit of purple at the edge. Après, this looks like a nice minty shade. Yep. And then Aperitif, I love an Aperitif. Really beautiful, wow. That's really pretty. Okay. So here is the iridescent shade. Yeah, it's like a green. You can see the like there's no base. There's the green. And then if I hold it this way, I'm seeing like pink purple. Then there's the mint. It's really pretty, nice inner corner, really bright shade on the lid. And then this really beautiful kind of emerald green. Okay, so now for my favorite section, this bluey purple. So we have Last Call is this really pale blue. Very pale, almost white baby blue. La Terrasse is this really pretty periwinkle that I've already used and really love. And then Velle Blanche is this dark purple. And this does work well with the purples and the pinky tones. I have used it in those, so you'll see that in the looks. I like that this is a really dark shade. I wish the other two went a little bit darker as well. So, almost like, it looks a little more white on camera, but in person I definitely see the baby blue. And then there's the periwinkle, do a little bit more. And then here is that dark purple. Love that. And then the last shimmers, we have Shot Ski. Don't know what that means. I've never skied a day in my life. Really pretty blue. Wow, that is blue. Mountain Chalet. This one feels very silky. That's really pretty. And then this last one, Aiguille de Midi. And then this last one is Aiguille du Midi, I think, is like a very icy lavender, like lavender silver. Really pretty. So here's that blue. That is beautiful. And then we've got this kind of periwinkle blue purple. It's got a bit of a shift to it, really pretty. And then the kind of lilac lavender silver. These are really pretty. This is definitely my favorite section of the palette. Okay, so I'm gonna wash this off. I'm gonna cut to the first two looks, and then we'll come back to try the greens and see what I think. So for tonight's part of the video, I think I am gonna do two looks. I was planning on doing one, but the more I look at the palette, the more I think I wanna do two. because I don't have that many days left to film before this is announced, and I want to use as many shades as possible. So I think I'm going to do one per eye because my eyes do not want to go back and forth. So I like that this is set up in kind of like 3 6-pan palettes. You can definitely mix and match some. I would probably mix the greens with the blues and like the purples with these shades, but I think I'm going to do something a little more monochromatic here and something a little more monochromatic here, and leave the green tones for tomorrow. So when I'll have a little bit more time and can swatch things as well. So I'm gonna put some NARS eyeshadow base down. So I just filmed another video where I was just chatting about stuff. That video should be going live before this one. And maybe a day before, I don't know. I just have my makeup for the day that I wore to work. So a little bit of my Surratt lash tint already on, so I already have some mascara, a little bit of concealer, a little bit of skin tint, blush, but it'll all be in the description box like normal. And I'm the least excited by these shades just because I don't really wear these tones. I'm very excited by these. So I think I'm gonna start with these just to see how they perform, and then I'll go into the more purple tones. I think I'm gonna start the shade off with the mid-tone shade here. This is Off-Piste, and I'm just gonna pick that up on a brush, and I'm gonna put that on my eye. I'm gonna skew you in a little bit as well. And I'm gonna put this, okay, so that is kind of pastel-y on my skin tone. I think it's pulling a little brighter than it looks in the pan. Like I said, I haven't swatched this at all yet. So I can definitely get away with this shade, but it's not my favorite. I mean, it's a nice bright kind of pink. It looks a little bit more cool mauve, but on my skin tone, that's pulling kind of pink. So I guess I will go into the next shade above it, the Haute Savoy, which is a little bit more magenta-y. And I'm gonna put that down. I think I should have started with that, but I thought the other one would be a little darker and a little bit more mauve-y. So this is coming out very pink, starting with that bright shade. So I'm just gonna pack some of this down. At least I have kind of a bright lid now. I mean, it's very pigmented and blending really easily. I'm just dipping in again. But yeah, this is not a color I really grab for. And I'm sure I will say that when I do the swatches and stuff throughout the rest of the video. I think this is a color a lot of other people like. And I don't think necessarily looks bad on me, but it is very pink, and I just don't really like this color on my skin, like as a blush even. As a shirt, yes, but not necessarily as eyeshadow. But then, you know, I can't wear too olive-y of a shirt because then it makes me look kind of sick, but I can wear it as an eyeshadow, so it's kind of the opposite. Okay, so this is a pretty color. It does look a little darker in person than it's looking on camera, I think. And I'm just building up a little bit more. So I think, yeah, I wish I would have started with the dark shade. And I'm just using the same brush. This is just a Sigma brush. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of the Raclette shadow, which is the palest shade in that part, like a pinky off-white, which seems kind of fitting for a cheese, although that's not the color of Raclette. But I'm gonna put that on the inner corner. So you've got kind of a nice all matte look. That's very brightening. I do like that as an inner corner shade. And then I think I'm gonna go into the dark purple over here to add a little bit of depth. So this is Valet Blanche up here. So I'm gonna go into a little bit of that so you can see how it blends with the pinky tones. Oh yeah, that looks nice. I need a lot more depth than that Haute Savoy shade was giving me. but this is building on itself really nicely, especially because this is the third matte on my lid. And I'm running along my lash line and outer corner. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever wear these pinks again. They might look fine, and I don't mind having them for when I really need that color, but like the off chance I want something pink or want to do something kind of rainbowy and need a bright pink, but it's just not a shade for me. But I do like the purple, so I'm very excited for the other eye. Swatch a little bit of that shade. Yeah, it is pretty mid-tone. So it's not just that I started with the other one, but that would have helped. Okay, it's time for some shimmers. I'm gonna grab my favorite shimmer brush, is the Refer 21. And I like that there's an iridescent shade. Looks like it has a little bit of blue to it. And then this one is some green. Let me see, is that, oh, that's really pretty. Yeah, that's an iridescent, mostly pink, but there's like blue to pink, kind of duochrome. So I think I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna use maybe all three to kind of build some of that depth. So I'm gonna put the Vien Chaude shade on the outer part of the lid. That's pretty. See, that's very magenta. So that's kind of the color I was expecting from the matte. That's really pretty. Again, not a shade that I will probably wear very often, but it's really pretty. I just don't like pinky or red tones on my skin very much. I'm just gonna, while I'm here, I'm gonna pick up Last Run, which is the middle kind of pinky shade. Put it right here. And a little bit of Les Alpes, which is the iridescent on, oh, well, that's really pretty. Okay, I'm just gonna put the iridescent all over. So the iridescent is a pink blue. So depending on the light, it's gonna look more blue. So it's gonna work with these and the bluey purples on the other side. Okay, I like that. I like that little bit of kind of pull. It's turning the kind of lilac against the other shades, which I appreciate. I did get a little bit of the other shadows on it. Okay, really like that shimmer. That's really pretty. Yeah, it does pull lilac. Okay. So that, I think I'm just gonna end it there. I'm not gonna put anything on the lower lash line, and I don't have anything to clean up. So that is look one. It's a lot more pink than I was expecting. Or the first look for tonight, at least. But I really like the shimmer. Yeah, you can see it's very blue there, but then when I'm looking at it this way, I'm seeing pink. So pink, blue duochrome iridescent, really pretty. And yeah, it did turn that kind of lavender. So that's beautiful. Now to go into the other eye. So I do really like the look of these blue shimmers, and they will pair really nicely with these, especially if you use this Last Call shade, but I think I want to stick with just these and maybe use the shimmer again to kind of tie it together. So I'm going to put a little bit of La Terrace on all over the lid, start kind of mid. Well, let's see. I'm going to pick it up with another blending brush. And that's pretty light, but I'm still gonna start all over with it. It's a really pretty periwinkle. Oh yeah, I really like that color. I don't think Nomad's done a periwinkle quite like this before. I would happily just wear this all over the lid as an all matte look. This with also the shimmer I put over here would be really pretty. And then I'm just turning the brush on that side and blending the edges. Yeah, that's really pretty, and it's diffusing really nicely. Okay, and then I'm gonna use the same brush and go into the dark shade that I used on the other eye. And I'm just going to tap that over the mobile lid near my lash line and blend it up. using what's left on the brush to buff the edges. I really like that. These are my comfort tones though, so I'm not surprised. And then I'm gonna pick up a little bit of Last Call, which is the bright blue, and I'm gonna put that on the inner corner. I just wanna see how it looks. Yeah. Maybe not fully an inner corner shade, but you could definitely do it to buff the edges, I think. Especially if you want it to pull a little bit more blue than purple. It's a nice icy tones. I like an all matte look, so you could definitely leave it there. And I could definitely, I want to see what the iridescent looks like before I put on the more lavender shade. So a little bit of this so you can see the blue, hopefully some of that pink. I'm gonna put that, yeah, it pulls very blue on here. I love an iridescent sparkly shade like this over an all matte look. It kind of looks like I put this down. And then I'm gonna pick up a little bit of this more lilac-y shade. Okay, that's like, it looks a very it looks very lavender here, but it's pulling very silver when I touch it. Let me swatch on the back of my hand. The hazard of not doing swatches before you use it. Yeah, that's pulling very silver, like silver with a lilac tone, so really pretty, but I don't know if I want that. Let's see, put a little bit of that in here as well. Yeah, that's really pretty. I think the iridescent would layer over this nicely too. But the two mixed together, I really like that. Okay, I have to see what the blue is like. Yeah, it does kind of look like, the iridescent over the matte kind of does look like this blue. And that's the dark blue. So if you want some depth out here, you could do that, but I think I'm just going to pick up the dark shade on this brush again that I used in the first look and tap back over the matte, or over the shimmers. Yeah, I like that. Much prefer this side, but these are my comfort tones. These are very much not. Okay, so first two looks are done. Kind of this pink look, pretty, especially with the like blue shimmer, iridescent shimmer. It kind of makes it a little more lilac-y. And then that shimmer over these more periwinkle mattes. Very different, really pretty. I think I like it over these more because you see that like purple tone. Yeah, it does make it kind of purple instead of pink. And on this, it just pulled straight blue. So the benefits of a iridescent shadow. Okay, so this is look 1 and look 2. I will do a green look later when I do the rest of the filming. But yeah, let me know what you think of these first two looks. I like them. I like this one a lot more now that it's kind of melted in the eye and I have that iridescent shade. That really made it for me. And then this one is, you know, my comfort zone. So I love that. Okay, so let me know what you think of these and then let's go on to the third look. Okay, so I zoomed you in a little bit. I hope that the swatches were helpful and that you enjoyed the first two looks. Now I want to try the greens. Obviously you don't have to stick with monochromatic. You can mix and match, and I did a little bit before, but I think this one's gonna be pretty much just green. Although green and blue do work really well together. I'm wearing basically the same makeup as the other day when I did those looks. The only difference is I am wearing a little bit of the Lisa Eldridge skin tint instead of the Auric Glow Lust as my base. But that's pretty much it. That's the only difference. So I think for this one, I'm gonna start with the darkest shade, especially after doing the other looks and doing the swatches now. I think I'm gonna start with the darkest green, blend it out, and then figure out the shimmers afterwards. I just put my NARS eyeshadow base down, and I'm just gonna pick this up on, actually, I'm gonna pick it up on this. This is one of the brushes I used the other day. It's a little stained, but it is fully clean. It is just a Sigma blending brush. Works well because I can pack and blend. Picks up very nicely. Always tap off, and then I'm just going to start placing that on my lid, focusing it down towards the lash line, and then going into the second layer. I feel like my contact is freaking out today. It's been a little dry. Really liking the tone of this. Okay, so I really like that. Actually, you could just pack on that color and finesse the edges, and that could be the end of it. You can obviously do the standard, like start with the transition shade and build down. And that looks really nice. I was worried this was gonna pull a little more blue-green on me, like a little more teal, because it is, especially with aperitif, looks a little bit more emerald, and emerald greens just pull teal on me. But this is a really nice green. Okay, I'm gonna pick up a little bit of the mid-tone shade Ski. Same brush. And I'm just going to buff the edges with that. And then using a clean brush, I'm just buffing even more. If you want a really nice seamless blend, you can always use like your setting powder and blend the edges a little bit. But I really like the way that looks. I do love a green. I'm gonna pick up a small little brush, and I'm gonna pick up a little bit of fondue. And I'm gonna put that on my inner corner and right down here. Yeah, that is a very bright green. That's really pretty. Okay, I'm gonna do this on the other eye, and I will be right back. Okay, so I just repeated this on the other eye. Really like the way this looks. You could easily keep this as an all matte look and just do something like this. I do wanna add a shimmer. You could use any of these if you want, especially if you don't put the dark shade all over the lid. Aperitif would be really pretty. I think I'll put a little bit of that on the outer part. I just wanna see. Oh yeah, that's really pretty. It melts into the other shade, the matte, really nicely, but it's definitely really sparkly. Oh, that's really pretty. Okay, so I'm gonna put that out here, and you could like leave you could do all three and put Après in the middle, and then Chamonix on just the inner corner or something, but I think I'm gonna use Chamonix all over the rest. I just love an iridescent. Normally I might just do the iridescent over the mattes. Oh, that's so pretty. I do like the mix of the iridescent with that dark green on the outer. Really like that green. Okay. Other eye, just tapping it over. Oh, that's so pretty. I don't really see the pink that I do in person. If I'm holding my finger this way, I see pink and purple. But I saw that with the other looks and this shade. It looked purple when I put it over these, and it looked blue when I put it over these. So the benefits of an iridescent shade. I'm gonna tap what's left kind of over all the way up. So there's just that little bit of green sparkle going all the way up. I don't like always having just a perfect crease. Okay, I like that a lot. I'm gonna go wipe off my hand real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is the finished look. I already had a little bit of mascara on earlier, so I don't really feel like adding more. Really like this. I'm not putting anything underneath. It's over that little bit of brightness there. You could easily wrap it all the way around, but I do tend to prefer just up here. Really like the way this looks. Okay, so final thoughts. I think this is a really beautiful palette. I'm very excited for people to see this. I think a lot of people are gonna really like this color story. The mattes, every shade in here performs really beautifully. The Nomad mattes are really pigmented, but blend easily. They layer nicely. The shimmers in this are really beautiful. You have the iridescence, you have this middle row is a little bit more medium opacity, and then you have the really opaque, really beautiful, like jewel tone-like tones down here. I think this is a really nice mix. Now, this isn't my perfect palette personally, because I'm not really going to use these shades very much. I will use this. I will use Layouts. I will use this shade with these and just by itself. Especially, I think my favorite two are the iridescent, but I'm kind of partial to iridescent shades. But I will use this shade a lot, but I don't think I'll use these 5 very much, but that's a personal preference thing. I do know most people I know and most friends enjoy these kind of tones, so I think if you like this color story, if you like these tones, I think this is a really beautiful palette and really good quality. But not my perfect palette just because of these 5 shades, but they performed well. I just don't like pink. I like pink in other things. I like pink clothing. I like pink things. I have pink stuff in my apartment. I just don't like pink on my eyes. I even have some pink lipsticks. I just don't like pink on my eyes. I have a pink lamp next to me, actually. But I think this is really beautiful. So, like I said, I will have all of the launch details in the description box. This will be launching in a couple days. I don't know the exact price. I'm assuming around $48 to $52, like in that like $50 range, just based on previous palettes, but who knows? Like I said, I do have a discount code with Nomad. It is Bones, so that'll save you 10%. I really appreciate anybody that does use that. And yeah, let me know what you think. What did you think of the 3 looks? Did you have a favorite? What are your thoughts on them? Do you like the palette? Are you gonna pick it up? I'd love to hear your thoughts and talk to you all in the comments like normal. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. It helps so much. And I will see you all in my next video.